the British pound. Somebody posted, don't buy the British pound. And you have to figure, well, what time frame is he talking about? I think the British pound is in an uptrend. But we may have to come back and pick up some buyers down here. $1.52, 42. So if I was going to get in this puppy, I'd put a buy limit here. I'd put one here. I'd put one here. And then I'd put one here. And I'd put one here. But I get in pretty spaced out there. Or I could set an alarm there, run to the platform, and buy it. Either way. On the south side, what happened? The other entries here. 4-hour chart just seems like enough pips to really make it worth your while. I think for the impatient person, the 4-hour chart is sheer torture. Although, I must say, if you stayed long the whole time this is this color, and you just hit the sell trigger, or you were in all your triggers that you did hit were biased towards the down, up, down, you get a little whipsawed here. I suppose you sell this and then they ram it up. But I think, I don't have a pip grid on here, but I guess you just have to fly by. You see your PNs here and just use maybe a percentage risk. This certainly is the buy zone here for me, just off of this double top, becomes a top, and becomes a bottom. So anywhere from here down to this, I would get in lightly. So say I buy a little bit here, and I buy a lot here, a lot more here, and just put a master stop on it. But again, I think it comes down to your tolerance for pain over time. And so you come in here and look at the kind of the I can't even imagine how many pips it is between these handles. So my math ain't too good. This is probably 200 pips here between these two. So it's a pretty, like, buying here and just thinking, oh, well, it's going to go up is pretty tough sledding. If you go to the 1 hour, you can see that you can make a living on the 1 hour chart. Okay, it's not going to be, I just can't imagine being in the market for 3 days unless you can only get to your platform once a week and place orders. Even the guy that bought the break out of this made money, right? The going up. This top here, and I mean, this is, I know this is boring stuff, but the 1 hour chart is just a gold mine. This here, this double top becomes a bottom, vroom. And of course, I'm not saying that's the target from there. Of course, if we zoom out, if we go back, if we go to the 4 hour from here, see if we have a key there. So you have a key here. And I'm sorry, that's not that price. This is the price I'm looking for, the keys off of here. So if I copy this to here, and now I go to the 1 hour and see where those double lines come in. Well, amazingly, they come in here. So I guess I could zoom out and see that peak there corresponds to this chatter here, because this is the pivot. This is the moment of indecision. Are we going up? We're going down. Then here comes the wicked wick of the stop hunt, which is why when the news comes out, just before the news comes out, you want to lay a grid that lasts for maybe an hour or 2 hours, whatever you can stand, that buys every top and bottom of that cluster. This way, when they rip this back into these multiple pivots, you get filled here and then zoom. If you've even got risk, like I said, there's no pip grid here, so you just have to do the math. That's the sad part. But imagine you risk 30 pips to make 60 pips on each of these. But you're laying cluster banks in. I just watched a video, and a guy was trading. Not that he's not a good trader, but he's trading 8 standard lots. I was hoping it was a demo. 8 standard lots. He did get in at different prices, but he's trading 8 standard lots. And took nothing off the table. He didn't take one off the table. So, I don't know. I always want to take one off the table. Like if I'm on the initial burst, say you bought this down here. When it starts to rip back, man, I'm getting out of one of those. Absolutely. It's like moving your stop. But you just freed up margin. So if you're living in a world where you want to maximize your margin, every position you have on is eating up your margin. Just saying, you know, of course, here, obviously, we want to start placing orders when we're on the 1 hour. We want to place them on 1 hour pivots. So definitely want to buy limit here for a retest down into this bottom here, which is this top, which is this big controversial area. And sadly, place another order here. And I say sadly because every time you place an order, you're going to expose yourself to risk, but you can't, you got to take this as an opportunity. When you see a triangle like this, when you see a pattern like this that's so dramatic, okay, this break out of here, this will be a zone that's highly probable to be revisited. And let me just turn this thing off, these rays on here, just to make it a little more clear. That I'm just concerned with this little adorable thing. Now you could draw it off the wicks, I suppose, but it's kind of distorts the all these wicks that people are drawing. You see people drawing off of. They're really messing up the price over time view of the market, because the market's like a heartbeat. This is a 1 period moving average, this white line, and this thing's pulsing. So as it goes, and the fractally speaking, you know, you want to buy stop here. Let me just check something. You're gonna want to buy stop here, kind of light, not a big buy stop. If we reverse, which we're probably going to. At some point, the market doesn't move in one direction forever, even on this move up to here. But where was the exit door here? Where was the place to have a pending sell here? I guess we can always go 20. Hindsight's 2020, but it's also foresight, because you knew there was a top here, so you had to put an order there or sell. Okay, it even retested that, and you had another chance to get in. So it's not like real life. You've got 2 chances to board that train. You had sell limits up here that never got filled at this double bottom. They almost filled you. But this window up here, which is like a 10 pip window, right? I don't know, something like that. I get all picky about the price. But it's just about the breadth of the market and the phase that we're in now. So we're in this big sell-off here. But this is kind of like a fake out sell-off like this. It's just a chance to come down, grab the stops from the other time frame. Okay, it corresponds to this, and this looks kind of Fibonacci-ish. In other words, if this is 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, right? But the market's not a perfect, like you can't, every tree you look at doesn't have the perfect fractal because sometimes there's like bugs that got a hold of it. So, I mean, it's not a perfect world. You know, this perfection thing can really mess you up. See this top that became a bottom just for a moment? That was the moment of do or die. And here's other moments of do or die. This bottom here, right? This is as it threads the needle. And nice thing about a line chart is it doesn't give you a bunch of garbage. This triple bottom here on these wicks, you would have never, I mean, in other words, the idea that you, I mean, it's just not a representation of the breadth of the market. The fact that the close is calming down, that's profound. And small pullbacks where it just doesn't ever come back. Okay, now you get this perfect top here. So as you do the resistance becomes support theory up here. This becomes that. That's the rollover. And another point. And then there was the bottom became the top. You got this wick, which was the bullish breakout, fake out. But just selling in here tight. I mean, you're only in like 20 pip small zones here. So the next compression zone, I mean, our next place to be buying heavily with the theory of every peak and every bottom deserves a pending is this double bottom here. So you have a cluster here, you know. You don't want to buy through this zone because it might just cut like a hot, hot butter through knife. That kind of fast whip move. See if let's go to a clean chart. Take a look at the even on the dailies, right? When we get this perfect top becomes a bottom here, and the colors change, the trend's up. That's the launching pad. But look at all the chatter, all the fussing and fighting. All the little peaks and valleys right here, this cluster. Wow, that's once it clears that, we're hunting down this top. Right? So here we are. We're coming back to this top, which is going to be our buy zone on the daily. Gotta turn this scale off again. Scale, fix it, and then drag that. Let's see where we're coming back to. So this is the heavy buyer there, at least for scalps, and then wow, this is where the this top became a bottom, and that's the big deal. Certainly for the long-term pendings, that's going to be a major support because we still build this stairway going up, kind of right on the edge of breaking out of that channel right now, though. So that's a daily if you've got patience for that game.